So, what a wonderful way to start a meeting off than for, I did tell David we've got a walking track that you guys can go on next time to make sure. Maybe you have to get here at 5:30. They can walk, we've got showers, then you can come in here and everybody can be energized. How's that sound? Now, let me tell you what's great about today. Every time you guys get together as a sales team, there are new people here, which means we're growing, which means we are investing in our people, which to me is extremely important. So a couple of weeks ago, I was in Vegas for the World of Concrete and SHOT Show. We're walking through the MGM, and I see all these people. I mean, with tags. There's multiple conventions taking place all the time in Vegas. And by the way, we did work. Some of us didn't believe we were going to work. We walked over 25,000 steps a day while we were there. So just because you go to Vegas doesn't mean you're there to play. But from my playbook, no pun intended, we're there to learn and identify how we can make our business better. But I kept seeing these people with the same name badge on. Finally, I stopped the guy and said, "Who are you guys here with?" And he told me it was a software company. I said, "There's a whole lot of you guys." He said, "Yep, 7,000. 7,000 salespeople." How crazy is that? So it made me start to wonder, will David ever get hours built where we've got that many people working with us? Can you imagine having that many people and what kind of and they were a software company. I thought that was unique in the fact that they spent the time, invested the money at that scale on their people, which is exactly what we do. Maybe not necessarily to that degree. I don't think we could get that many people in this room, but it kind of reinforced for me why it's important to go to the expense to bring your people together so that they can understand, so that we can work together, we can learn how to become a better team, right? Not that you would think he and I talk and we got notes, but we don't, which is another thing that's kind of unique. But I think that comes along with how much time I got invested in that head for the last 20 years. But think about what just happened. When David said, clap, how long did it take you to all get on the same page?
20 minutes.
Think about that. Because that's life. Typically, especially in the life of a salesperson who knows their product, understands how they want to sell it to the customer. The hardest thing to do is to be quiet, listen, right? And focus on what the direction is. So I'm glad that happened, because that's one of the things that I've talked to different people about, and one of the things I'm going to challenge you to do. If I were to ask you, what makes our company unique? Do you think you all would have the same answer? No. So I'll just go around the room, pick a few on, make everybody talk. Clay, what makes us unique?
Diversify and go in so many different directions.
Hizzle, you've been here for David Hall. You've been here for ever. What makes us unique?
We deliver the best customer service. The best service is the best service.
Don, you've been here for a little while.
Go in different areas. Horse shop.
God, family, service.
I like that this company allows us to follow. If I have an opportunity, if it's something new, we accept that project and try to find it.
Tim stole mine. I was going to say the foundation that we set in God, family, business.
What do you think, Rob?
Well, first and foremost, God Family Business Foundation stands out most among our company, first and foremost, but our ability to perform and adapt to different customer needs on a daily basis.
What do you think, David?
Not going to pick on what he said, but to me, what I see is we're a big enough organization, but we're small enough to where we can meet our customers' needs and we can change on the fly if we have to. And a lot of bigger organizations just can't change on a dime, but we have the talent, I think, throughout our company where we can just change on a dime and make our customers happy and give them what they need.
What do you think, Mr. Yance?
Well, since both these two of my favorite lines, it's really simple. I think it is the God family business. I think we're not afraid as a company to invest and grow. There's a lot of places along the way that we can just stop and put the brakes on, not only in the sales department, but operationally, and understanding our customers' needs. The fact that we say no to some business, I know in a room full of salespeople, it's probably not what you're used to hearing, but that sets us up for success in the long run. When we get a customer, we keep that customer. So we do have some attrition, we lose stores closed, we lose some stuff here or there, but mainly we're able to continue to add to the pile. We're not having substantial losses every year. And because we continue to invest in our sales team goes out, pushes operation, and they continue to knock it out of the park, retain the business, and also grow the business by the way, not just maintaining it. And the willingness to invest in the way we do business the right way. The way we do business the right way is what makes us successful. Not only what we say or how we do or what we do, but that is out in the world. People understand it, and this how it takes on something. They do it with purpose, and it's something that they don't have to worry about anymore. That service is taken care of. And it's taken years to build that reputation.
I could continue to go around the room and hear some of the same similar things from everybody in the room because we all bring different experiences, right? There's not really a wrong answer that you could give me. Go ahead, Joe. I wasn't going to call on you because you speak for 30 minutes, but go ahead.
Well, what I think is unique about this company is that we're privately owned. We have excellent leadership and ownership. They care about their employees, good times and bad times, when they're in good health, when they're in bad health, and I know that personally. And I really enjoy working with them.
Thank you. What makes us unique is we trust each other first and foremost. We all believe in what we're doing and in each other, right? You didn't come here today, and whenever I meet with executives or other people or have meetings with our customers, we have no inhibition about who we are. There's no question in our mind when we're meeting with a customer or a potential employee why we believe in our organization. Not because you got a piece of paper that tells you what we do, right? But you trust each other. And one of the things I started talking about years ago, especially in our sales meetings, is we all compete because we all want to, I got a phone call Friday, right? What was that call?
One of the great opportunity with BJ's for $240,000 a year.
Now, most people would think, why would the president and CEO of the company be excited about that? It's a new sale. It's something new, and they shared it with me. You think that's not important, but I get just as excited about it as you do. I know David likes to brag that sales drives everything. Sales is in charge of everything, and then he throws it to Rob and says, you need to get it done. Call Jay right now. Right? But think about your home. Think about your relationships. Think about your family. Think about the people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. Sales is a positive. Do we have negatives? Yes. Sometimes we don't get to close the deal. Okay, is that a negative? Yes, but you can't get lost in that. The point I'm making is, if we all work together to help each other, instead of what I've seen in many other organizations, where everybody has to be so competitive, or they're afraid to talk about a deal they're working on because somebody else might steal it. Right? If if you really think about the question and what makes us unique, listen, God Family Business. If you hadn't heard that from me, you just did. For those of you that have been around me, that's the way I live my life. I teach my children. My wife and I try to make the decisions that we make every single day. Do I lose my mind and have a potty mouth every once in a while? Yes, because I'm just like you. And then I have to ask for forgiveness, and then I feel bad because, should I have really acted like that? For me, it's compounded because I never want to act in a manner for our people as a leader in a way that is not, I don't want to say acceptable. It's not the kind of leadership that I want to give our people. But the reality of it is, we are all human. And things are going to happen. And we're going to lose our mind. And we're going to lose our mind on each other. But we also have to forgive each other. We have to help each other. We have to care about each other. Enough that we call each other out. Rob's done it to me on many occasions. We've had heated discussions. Lord knows we've had heated discussions. But that also builds character, it builds your relationship, it builds the trust. So from a unique perspective, I want you to always remember that we are part of a wonderful team. Whether you're sales or operations or accounting. I mean, think, when's the last time you went to a sales kickoff meeting and you got the CFO and EVP of operations sitting at the table back there with the EVP of business development? I would challenge you to say probably never. But when we sell, think about the way you sell. Think about the other thing that makes us unique. Is our sales and operations people and accounting people all work together. Right? In many places, the salespeople get the rah-rah, and everybody's looking, going, go sell, go sell. Then they just flip it to the operations team or the accounting team and say, I sold it, now you go get it done. That's not what makes us successful. It's that we communicate with each other. There are many times that our ops and sales teams work together to determine what's the best course of action, and sometimes meeting with the customer, selling the customer. Listen, we're not always going to be the cheapest. And I realize when you're in sales mode, whether it's an RFP, it doesn't matter what it is, one-on-one with the customer. One of the reasons I'm emphasizing for each and every one of you today what makes us unique from my perspective, in addition to the God Family Business, is this. And I'm not going to brag, but I am going to brag. So I can go anywhere with Rob. I can go anywhere with David. I'm still working on David Jones. We got too many DYs around here, you know. Go to send an email and you got to make sure you have to send it to one of 4 or 5 people that's got the initials DY. And we can have a conversation with the customer about what we do without a notebook. Now, how great is that? Most of the time, people are afraid they're going to trip each other up. They're afraid one doesn't know what the other one needs to say. But go back to what I said about trust. We complement each other when we work together, when we talk to customers together. We teach each other when to speak and when to be quiet. Right? I love to talk. Can you tell? I love to teach. That's probably the most important thing for me going forward. My wife and I had a conversation early this morning. As I was sitting there at 4:45 watching the sun come up, drinking a cup of coffee. You know, I really hadn't decided what my message was going to be today. And I know that sounds crazy. But the people that are directly around me are pushing me to become a different leader than I've been in the past. And I will explain why that's important. In the same manner that I'm asking you to leave here today, every day, and then when you go home, remember what makes us unique. Well, the reason that's so important is I'm a builder, right? I love building businesses. I love building people. I love pouring into people, not just monetarily, but by putting people together. Sometimes those people are like oil and vinegar or water and, salt and pepper. They're like, wow, why did you put us together? Well, sometimes it's because you're so different that the things that make you great in some areas can complement other people. Sometimes we even try to change people to conform to what we think they need to be to make the organization greater, when the reality of it is we need to look at the person and say, wait a minute, the skill set that might get on your nerves or you think is a negative can also be a positive. Why are they in that position? Why have we put them in that chair? Are they learning? Are they willing to adapt? So our evolution is across the board, starting with me. I like to build businesses. I have been so focused the last 40 years on building, thinking about the future, thinking about where we are today. How do we get here? Who do I pick to put in the right chairs? Because I can't do it all, obviously. And if you think you can, you're lying to yourself. Because there's going to be times that you need to get somebody to help you with a sale because you can't get it done. Or there's going to be times that you just take somebody with you because it demonstrates for the customer what kind of organization we are. What makes us unique? When a customer asks us, why should I choose you? Typically, from a sales perspective, you want to go to price or product or this or that or all of the normal things that salespeople tend to want to spew forth. But think about this. We're never going to be the cheapest, so don't get it in your mind that you want to talk about price. We're going to price it fair. We got long relationships with customers. We want to be fair, but we're doing this to make money, right, David Johns?
One of my favorite foods in every meeting we have. Believe it or not, we are a for-profit company.
So when you're talking to that potential customer or existing customer, find your way to communicate with them. What makes us unique, right? Everybody's been in another place. Everybody's worked, well, exception of me. Everybody's worked somewhere that they loved and hated parts of their job. What I want you to do is help me going forward, pull out the things that were great, let go of the things that were negative. When you leave here, Wednesday or Thursday, leave any garbage and luggage behind, focus on what we're doing as an organization. What made you better when you came here over the last few days? This is it too. The other thing that makes us super unique is I want you to develop relationships with each other. I want you to trust each other. I want you to be friends with each other. Sometimes you might help another person make a sale and you're not making a dime off of it. God knows I've had to show David Jones that. Yours will come. Sometimes it's okay to help other people and to listen to you. So the challenge is, think about the things from your perspective that make us unique. Listen. Listen first, then speak. Let me say that again. Listen first, then speak. Right? We all think about when we started this in the clap. Listen. When I clap, then you clap. How many times did it take us to finally get on the same page? So it's going to take practice because we're used to doing this. We're used to talking to people and helping them understand what we can do for them. Listen, there's nothing more challenging than to walk into a customer, and the more you learn about our organization and the people that we have in it and the services that we have and the equipment and everything else. I'm not going to get in any of his parade, but if you don't think 2025 is the year that's going to send us straight up, based on all the previous 42 years of investing in the company, the products that we bring to market, the people, the relationships, and the diversity, from an experience standpoint, you can't touch us. Now, you have to believe that, right? You have to eat it, breathe it, sleep it, act it, do it, love it, the ups and the downs, the good and the bad. Sometimes you just got to rip the Band-Aid off and tell somebody that baby's ugly, right? To get through it and get on the other side. But that's just business and building relationships with each other. We spend enough time talking to each other. I'm going to be traveling more this year because I need to get a sense for our people and the people that can continue to help us grow the business and take it to levels that, I don't know about you guys, but we're at a place that if you'd asked me 42 years ago, we'd have this many salespeople and our revenues would be going in the direction they're going, and we'd be able to set the stage over the last 3 years for sustainable growth that would put most businesses out of business. I'd have said, yeah. But here's the difference. I would have said yeah for about that long. Because I believe in us. I believe that in believing in yourself and teaching and training your people and building a very good, strong network of people that believe. If everybody believes and we're all rowing in the same direction, there's nobody that can beat us. And if a customer chooses to go cheap instead of quality or whatever we bring to the table, that's on them. David says it real good. Sometimes we tell our customers no more than we tell them yes. We earn their respect. Going forward, many times in the past our growth has been based on national accounts. Going forward, this is the room that's going to drive that. Doesn't matter what I do, who I know, or what kind of big deal I might bring to the table because I'm like joking around and know everybody and typically got my ear to the grindstone and I know when something's coming that we can tap. But our revenues and our growth going forward has got to come from this room and the people that we'll add in the future. There's always going to be a focus on growth, no matter what. We've got to grow. We can't stand still. We're always going to be in a state of change, whether it's on the accounting team, new software, whether it's service star and get the equipment to market like we need to. You've got so many wonderful opportunities to, I hope, make more money than you've made in your entire life. Really. I don't care where you've been, how much you've made. Unless somebody in this room's already just naturally rich and doesn't really need to work, they just like people. I think we all go to work every day because we want to build something, we want to build wealth, we want to support our families, and we want to make a difference in the world. I think that's something else that we do from a sales perspective that's different. I'll give you an example of two companies that I've watched that they're struggling, right? Budweiser, Pepsi. I don't know, the owners of the distribution in these areas, Coke's the same way. There was a day that people stood in line for years to go to work at those organizations. SEG used to be the same way when it was Winn-Dixie, the beef people. You remember that? Yeah. People stood in line and they went to work for their life. Over the last 10 to 15 years, people in distribution changed the dynamics of their salespeople. They would take a salesperson, put them out there, tell them to build it up. They'd get their income up. Then they'd say, okay, I'm going to whack it back down. I'm going to move you over here. I get the concept. The concept is, okay, you built it up. I'm going to take it away and you're going to rebuild it. Ours is a little bit different. Right? I don't want to do that. I want to set people up to be able to make as much as they can possibly make without me having, or anybody else, treat you like a puppet on a string. Right? Now, what does that mean? Over time, people become successful and they become complacent. And then their pocketbook gets big. And then they forget. So if you think that's gonna happen, I will remind you it's not, because we will make an adjustment if we have to. Bless you.
Thank you.
Because it's collective. There's always gonna be those one-offs that help the company, make the company money, make the salesperson money. At the end of the day, salespeople have to remain driven. They have to care about the people that they work with. They have to believe in the organization and in the culture. And they got to bring it. Now that follows through on the operations side and on the accounting side, because we all have to work together. Once we sell it, once you get the rah-rah moment, once you get the exciting, we got to go sell something again. But that's the business that we're in, and this room drives change. Everybody in this room, and those that will join us in the future, is a catalyst for change and the growth of the organization. We all bring different experiences to the table. We all get to compare notes. We're going out, but I'm going to be looking at this group of people going forward to really drive the sales for our future. Let that sink in. We've had a lot of growth. My challenge to them is we've been able to sustain that over the last 3 or 4 years. Now, what we want to do is through all of our people and the networks of relationships and the changes and the movements and the offices and the adding new people and equipment and things like that, now it's time to execute on all the investments that we've made before now. That's what I expect. I expect you to have fun. I expect you to make money. I expect you to help me grow this business and take it to places that even I couldn't have imagined. And you can do it. Every person in this room must believe that you can do it individually and as part of a big group. It's pretty simple for me. We work together, let's make money together, let's grow the business, and then let's help other people. Not only people in our organization, but people along the way that might need that help. That's what makes us unique. That's what has enabled us to grow when many other companies wouldn't be able to. We've got the strength, we've got the character, we've got the people, we trust each other, we're all seasoned, and we're doing it together. And you don't have somebody at the top that's pitting everybody against each other. That's just not the way I like to do it. And I realize that isn't the norm. And I realize by becoming friends, sometimes that means we have to make decisions. If you're in leadership, I expect a lot. I'm going to expect even more. What I do expect is that you leave here this week feeling great about what we're doing. If you got a question while you're here, then let's talk about it, let's figure it out, and let's help each other. Otherwise, when you leave here Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to be looking at folks based on the new hub spots and the things we're doing in accounting so that I can get a more in-depth picture than I've ever had of what's changing in the organization from month to month, sometimes day to day. So that I can measure and see where we're really applying ourselves. And I can figure out where do we need to invest our money next. Right? It's been in Jacksonville, it's been in Greer, we're looking in Mobile. There's going to be other areas that somebody comes to me and says, we need to open up another office, and I'm going to have to make that decision. Depends on our growth, our profitability, our cash, all those other normal things that come into running a great business. I couldn't do it without you. I couldn't. And nor do I think I would. I like people. I like relationships. I like becoming friends. That's something unique in business, period. So have fun, learn from each other, and impress me.